Hi, boys and girls. Today we're learning about parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And again, quite a bit going on in this lesson. So I want to make sure that you have your journal or a piece of paper and that you've given it the title that you're working on today of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. And our essential question is, how can you identify and draw parallel lines and perpendicular lines? So there's all sorts of models that we can see out in nature, out and about. Certainly intersecting lines, or maybe when two streets cross each other. Parallel lines a model of that can be train tracks. That's the way you can think about that. So let's get into this a little bit deeper. So intersecting lines, they are lines in a plane, that just means on a flat surface basically, that cross at exactly one point. Intersecting lines will form four angles. So take a minute and draw this in your journal, label this intersecting lines, and we would read this as line HI intersects line JK at point X. So right there is our point where they intersect. So if we were just asked to do that, this is what it would look like. This is how we would write it. Notice, to go back to 10.1, how we actually indicate that we want you to draw a line, and that has the line with the bar with the arrows on each end. So this is line HI and line JK intersect at point X. And again, this is what you would draw if you were asked to do that. Then we have these special lines called parallel lines, and they're lines, again, in a plane, that just means a flat surface, that are always the same distance apart. They don't have to necessarily be the same length, by the way. But they are always, no matter where they're measured at the same distance apart. Parallel lines never intersect. Again, like train tracks, you could think of that. And so here we have line DE is parallel to line FG. I know I can say this the other way, by the way. I can say line ED is parallel to line GF. If I want to, because I can read those the opposite direction. Okay, this is how you would see it. If you were asked to do it, this is what it's going to look like. It has a little set of parallel lines in between. So this would read line DE is parallel to line FG. Again, this little symbol means is parallel to. And then we have special intersecting lines called perpendicular lines, and they intersect to form four right angles. And here's a picture of that. So we have line LM is perpendicular. There's my symbol for perpendicular too. It's like an upside down T. And so again, line LM is perpendicular to line NO. Again, they're lines, and they're going off in both directions forever, indicated by the arrows. I could have intersecting rays, intersecting line segments. I could have parallel rays or parallel line segments, and I could have perpendicular rays or perpendicular line segments. So these are examples of lines, but I could also show that in rays or line segments. Let's look down here to a map. It's kind of fun to use a map. And this happens to be a map, I guess, of some streets in New York City, because it has Broadway there. So I'm imagining this is probably New York City. Okay, so here we go. We are asked to tell how the streets appear to be related. Or is it perpendicular, parallel, or intersecting? Well, let's check it out. So West 36th Street and Broadway. Here's West 36th Street going this way, and here's Broadway. So here is where they intersect, but are they just intersecting or are they perpendicular intersecting? Well, these do not appear to be forming right angles. Broadway kind of goes up on an angle itself. So these streets are intersecting. How about 35th Street and 7th Avenue? Here's 35th Street, and here's 7th Avenue. And this is where they intersect. So they are intersecting, but they are intersecting in a very special way. They are forming right angles. So we can also say they're intersecting, but they're also perpendicular. Okay? And then how about West 37th Street and West 36th Street? Well, here's West 37th Street and here's West 36th Street. They do not intersect in any way, and they appear to be the same distance apart. And so we are going to say that these lines, these streets, are parallel. By the way, notice the word parallel has parallel lines in it. That's how I remember how to spell it. Okie doke. Let's turn our page over. I'll bring this down so you can see this a little better. And let's look what we're asked to do here. Okay, so this says, now I don't have a ruler with me, so I don't have a straight edge. I'm going to just draw this as straight as I can. But we're going to draw some of these out now. So we're going to draw and label ray, y, x, that is going to be intersecting ray, y, z. Okay, so it's intersecting, but they're intersecting in a very specific way. Do you remember what this symbol tells us? It tells us that they're going to be intersecting in a perpendicular way. We're going to make perpendicular, a perpendicular angle, basically. So our first step is to draw and label ray, y, x. So I know that a ray has the first letter in my name for the ray is my endpoint. So this has to be point Y. And then I'm going to just fill this in and pop off my other point. So there's my ray. Now I know I have to again make it perpendicular to ray, Y, Z. So this has to form, to the best of my ability, a right angle. I'm going to pop off point Z, label it point Z, and I'm actually even going to draw this little box here to indicate that I have formed a right angle. Okay, so these are perpendicular rays, and what do they form? Well, they form a right angle. Okay, let's move down here to this set of instructions, which says to draw and label. I have to look closely at how this is written. There's a bar above these two letters, but there are no arrows. So this is telling me, if you'll remember, line segment. So this is line segment QR, and these instructions say I have to make this parallel to line segment ST. So I'm going to first draw my line segment QR. I'm labeling it, and I'm going to make that parallel to the best of my ability here, and as straight as I can, to line segment ST. And there I have that. Now I'm going to look at this shape here and answer some questions. Okay, so I have this rectangle, and the vertices are labeled C, B, D, and F. Okay, so it says name two sides that appear to be parallel. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, it looks like C and D are parallel to B and F. And I'm just going to write that. I'm going to write CD and BF. Now, I'm just going to put this little slash here because I know there's another one too that I can see, right? I can see that CB is parallel to DF. So I'm going to do that one too. CB and DF appear to be parallel as well. Let's look at what appears to be perpendicular. Perpendicular is going to form a right angle. Well, in my rectangle, there are 4 right angles, so I have several to choose from. But I'm going to say that CD is going to be perpendicular to BC, or I could say CB. So I'm going to say, I'm going to kind of point out this one right here, this and this. So I'm going to say CD and CB are perpendicular. Okay, let's see if we want to do any more on this page here. Maybe we want to do a few of these. Let's just practice these and then we'll let you practice on your own. Okay, so draw and label the figure described. So we're going to draw and label. I have to look really closely at it. This is asking for line segment RS to be parallel with line segment TU. Now, I've been making them go this way, but I can make them go this way. So let's just try something different. So I'm going to say this is RS. Again, it's a line segment. It has 2 endpoints, and I'm going to make it parallel to line segment TU. How about this one? I have to look closely. This is ray KL and ray KM. I have to notice that they both start with K, so that means one of my points is K. That's where they're both going to meet. So I'm going to make KL, just go out on this side here, and I'm going to make KM, just go up in this direction here. I think my pen's running out of ink. Okay, there we go. Now let's check this out. I'm being asked to make line segment CD, which is what? Perpendicular. That sign says perpendicular to line segment DE. Okay, they have a point in common. So here is going to be their common point, D, and I'm going to make my DC line segment go up this way, and I'm going to make my DE line segment go off in this direction, and they have to be perpendicular, which means I'm going to draw a little box right here to show that I have made a right angle. Okay, let's try this one. So this is line JK perpendicular to line LM. Okay, 2 lines intersecting exactly to form right angles, 4 right angles. I'm going to pop off some points. I'm going to call this one JK and this line here LM. And it doesn't say that they intersect at any specific point, so I just leave it like that. Okay, let's try this one. This one gives a little bit more instruction. Line ST intersecting line UV at point X. Now it doesn't say that they're perpendicular. It just says they're intersecting. So the way I do this is I make a big X. And then I'm noticing I'm making lines. They are intersecting lines, so I have to have my little arrows to indicate that. I'm going to make this line ST. I'm going to make this line UV, and they intersect at point X. All right. And my last one to model for you will be line AB parallel to line FG. I'm just going to get fancy and make it going off this way this time. Line AB parallel, as exact as I can make that drawing freehand, parallel to line FG. And there you have it. So hopefully that is helpful for you to complete this Google form to practice the concepts from this lesson. Please be completing the homework. We always say it's optional, but it's really important for you to practice these skills. So go ahead and print that out if you can, or look at that page and do the work in your journal or on a separate piece of paper. But it's a really great idea for you guys to practice. Okay, so this is kind of fun. Have fun with it. And just know, again, how much we appreciate all your hard work and how much we all miss you. Okay, you guys, have a great day.